Welcome everyone to another open source Linux distribution development live stream here on our low-level tech channel. We're developing Linux distribution for 20 years. You might have seen that previously. Alright, what did I even do here? That. And Linux distribution, that is T2. And with all the efforts here, it's regularly saddens me when, after all these efforts, people even booted on their amazing Sun Ultra Spark and then stuff doesn't work. And case in point today, grep. And this is a curious case. It also, I mean, not only works for me, installation, right? So let's run something similar. Oh, so we just emerged that. So yeah, common case of works for me, but we can determine what is the issue here. So they run into, they want to emerge some stuff, RxBT Unicode, doesn't. And so that, of course, works here, right? And we see what the problem is. Also, like, if you're a user, maybe carefully read the output, because basically the way we script that here with good old-fashioned shell scripting, it even tells you here what's the issue. I wonder a little bit why I never run into the issue. I mean, I know, so what the issue is that grep, we run grep on stuff, on a text file. And grep is like, yeah, YOLO, whatever. Yeah, something matches. So that's, of course, not our expected result. I know that in general, so the issue is that GNU Grep, I tried to Google that, but I didn't quite find when that was. Some decade ago, 10, 15 years ago, whatever, maybe if you read the GNU Grep changelog, you might find this. But I remember when I started Linux 25 years ago, that was not a thing. So that is a new thing. 10, 15 years, they added a non-standard option, the GNU folks, the Free Software Foundation GNU folks, that if you grab a text file like executable or other data files, it will by default no longer output the match. Historically, grep did, like Unix, BSD greps, and GNU Grep too until some 10 years ago. And the solution is, so what grep then does is, as you see here, we basically what that does is this. Probably is the code here. We take a look in a second. Somewhere at the end, before we actually build that for packages and deb list, so deb list equals probably this here. It grabs this stuff, and so what that does is the script wants to sort this by build priority for dependencies, and so that fails. And maybe we can. So the thing is, of course, I mean, why does it not fail for me? What you need to do then, also other people, of course, have the issue, right? Yeah, people stop filtering ASCII stuff. And I just checked the open group base specification from even 2018. So they do not mention any -a ASCII, right? So that's not like really, there is a grep standard of Unix open group base specification stuff. And it's like, yeah, the GNU, so the anti-pattern of there's a standard, and then we do it slightly different, right? Yesterday's security shout out with Google's Android with WT or so for truncated, open truncated files. And similar here, right? And I always hated this. I hated it some 15 or whatever, 10 years ago when they introduced this, because the result is, what is the outcome, right? So usually if you're a security researcher or otherwise, of course, sure, you could have shot yourself into your foot with standard open group base specification conforming grep of accidentally grabbing a binary file and having gibberish on your terminal, right? But I would argue that it would be grep foo in bin dash or whatever. That does not even match. So binary file matches. So you can -a ASCII. So this non-standard behavior saves you from shooting yourself into your terminal and having ASCII garbage on your terminal. But I would argue that is a rare case, right? I mean, this happens extremely rarely, and even when, so usually, sure, security vulnerabilities, you could crash your terminal with that because bugs and features and people writing terminals in C, except we run Alacrity, which is written in Rust. And I would still argue it's such a minor case. I would, like, if they want, like, in my humble opinion, this is a complete anti-pattern of adding features and non-standard behavior for issues that don't really exist and make the common case much harder. Because now, even imagine you write stuff at Google, Facebook, or wherever, Amazon, Apple, Google stuff build system, like you randomly breaking stuff, right? You build your Windows, you build your amazing T2 Linux, and stuff randomly, like some stuff isn't built, like it could hide wherever, right? Even its software, Quake installer or stuff, or Matrox, Relay Labs, Vintage Driver, or whatever. There could be grep, not could, or Oracle in some microsystems, like shell scripting of installer stuff and other surrounding stuff, even like banks, right? Imagine you run stuff in your banking system and some grep and SAD somewhere and some wire transfer stuff. My point is, it's only causing bugs, right? Because what this does is, if this matches patterns that are not in the, I think they even depends on the locale. So, I mean, maybe they get this. I mean, like, I have no idea. I've seen this grep in other cases, but I've never seen it in emerge. With, like, obviously, if I would have seen that, I would have added that a long time ago. And you could argue that the solution is simple. Just add in -a and like -a for ASCII, right? So as I just had here, -a for like 3 binary files for ASCII. But I would say this should be the default, right? If you wanted the other behavior, that should be -- no binary or whatever. Because that is just silly. It was annoying when they introduced it. It caused plenty of bugs when GNU introduced it some 10 years ago. And even we are here, 10, 15 years later, some users come. I sit here 3 years left on YouTube. I emerge and build the heck out of epic and thread ripping and massive, embarrassingly parallel Sun microsystems T4 with, what was it, 128 threads? That was, whatever that was, or 64 threads, something of that sort. Hey, I think the Open Power 8 I recently purchased has 80 threads. 80 threads, like 64 to 80 threads of even Spark and Power PC. And at the end of the day, people come to Discord like, hey, stuff is not emerging. It's like why? You could argue, why have we not added? I mean, maybe we should have simply added -a all over the place, and maybe that was, and that is the stuff, right? And then with this anti-pattern of non-standard behavior to actually have your stuff freaking work here, I mean, the same solution would then be to add -a everywhere. I only wonder, I mean, and that is also the stuff where stuff gets overcomplicated. I don't even know if, like, because we support macOS theoretically, like compiling Homebrew on macOS, if we wanted soon to support other BSD or maybe even SGI-IRIX for the fun of it. And I don't even know whether the decade-old whatever BSD grep SGI-IRIX or macOS still ships, whether they even support -a, right? And then you litter your source code, then you have some compatibility header of determining the header and grep type and stuff, and then adding some, like replacing all the grep with some variable of like $grep, which includes -a on some systems. It's like, for what, right? For just causing bugs and inconvenience. And that is a recurring theme, not only with Android, macOS, Windows, and #peak bugs. Also, even the GNU Free Software Foundation open source world we are creating ourselves, right? So that was deb list. Yeah, I mean, you could have said, yeah, I'm guilty myself. Why have I not for a decade added -a everywhere? Basically, I added -a and then some wherever we have kind of like, sure, in like desk files, it could be binary because we had, God forbid, Unicode and other 8911 or whatever the ISO-1 code page was. And then that's also the stuff, right? Then you get this for, you have a Unicode locale, and then you got that for grepping on Latin 1 ISO 8859-1 or whatever, encoded files, because God forbid they were not UTF-8 and you run with an UTF-8 local. It's like, it's just silly. And hey, it hurts performance, right? It needs to do a binary check before actually grep. So it's like less performance for annoying anti-patterns. So yeah, let's sparkle some more -a in here, which is like also all the other stuff, right? You only need this for grep. Sorting, cutting, translating, I guess. Like everything works on freaking binary data except grep. The Snowflake Free Software Foundation Snowflake grep needs in -a to convince it to operate standard conformingly, and how you would expected. It could even be, I mean, that is unrelated. Maybe either there is some Spark bug, maybe they somehow messed, but I mean, it's hard to, I mean, maybe there's some garbage data in there, which I guess they would not normally manage to do so. Maybe file system corruption. I have no idea how this config default packages, because normally it looks like that. So this is a fresh installed VM from yesterday's build. And it's like, I don't see it. So it's outputting this for the user for this data. So there is actually kind of sort of only, I mean, we don't have even UTF-8 package names. So like, I have zero idea how that could have even happened to start with, but that is not only commercial software, but open source, right? It works for me, and then someone comes like, hey, grab binary file match. It's like you, why? But yeah, so long shot, I mean, maybe the other problem is another, but of creating garbage data there, who knows, whatever is going on there. But yeah, well, ADM packages, I guess it could be in here. But so the thing is also, for me, this never happened, right? I emerge every day, I merge OpenSSH updates on servers, OpenSSL, Python, Ruby, LVM Clang, Firefox on my workstation, at times OBS, and like I literally emerge probably sources, packages from sources every day, and I freaking never had this issue. I'm so puzzled. So yeah, so I mean, theoretically this here in our other more main scripts actually that has -a array, so yeah, it's a tiny little bit of an oversight. By the way, usually this is a little bit far indented here. Maybe I don't touch it today. It's a bit silly, not really sure why that is. So all spaces? No, whatever, maybe I don't touch it now. Maybe in the future, I mean, I sparkled in, I mean, just because we had this for .desk metadata with Unicode or Latin 1. I sparkled -a even on other places where it didn't happen for me in other build package main sources. Maybe I should, and even as recently as still like last year ago, I probably in retrospect, I should have, like, okay, we have here a queue here, it probably shouldn't matter. I mean, I could sparkle in -a in here for good measure, because it's quiet anyway, so either it matches or not, whether it's a binary file or, but yeah. Maybe for the future, better be safe than sorry. That's probably general pro tip. Config. So yeah, here's another one. But yeah, leave in the comments below what kind of stray Heisen bugs and non-standard behavior cause issues for you. I hope you enjoyed this, learned something. As always, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Have a good day or night, and I hope you learned something.